motivation and the ability or the drive to achieve something can also lead to self-betterment. It can make us better people. It can make us stronger. It can build strong and trusting relationships with different people. And it gives us the opportunity to explore more activities to enjoy and to be passionate about. Amen. Okay, so self-motivation is a critical component in a person's life. It is a critical component because it allows us to perceive things from a more positive light. Now, I know this may be difficult because sometimes we're surrounded by people who are always negative. And so if you're always around people who gossip, complain, always talking down, then what's going to end up happening is that you're going to rob yourself of the opportunity to be in circles amongst people who can help you as well as themselves see things in a more positive light. All right? Anybody, just be honest, anybody in this room ever been sick and tired of being around someone so positive? Y'all not telling the truth and you in church. I'm going to talk to all of you 400 people that's watching this morning. Good morning. I happen to get to church and worship with a bunch of people ain't telling the truth. Let me ask you guys the same question. Have you ever been around somebody that their positivity just kind of irks you a little bit? Let me put my hand up. I'm putting mine up. Like, have you ever been around people and you're like, really, this early in the morning? You really? Seriously? All right. Now, this is because, let's be very honest, positivity, just like negativity, can be contagious. But it really depends upon where you are in your life, what your goals are, what is your life goal, what is it that you want? Do you want a better quality life? Listen, you don't, when someone asks you, what do you want? And you say, I just want a good paying job, that's not a good end product. Because you can get good pay and hate your job. Right? You can get paid really good and it pays the bills, but it's stressing you to the point you got doctor bills piled up because you're so stressed. Right? Or you can love what you do even though you may not make a whole lot, but you love what you do. You know, some studies have shown that people who love what they do live longer and find more enjoyment out of life, right? So, you know, being around positivity is not a bad thing at all. In fact, I had to ask myself when I was around a person who was really positive all the time on the job, you know, she come in and work. I'm like, who is that? They said, oh, she's like that all the time. I said, thanks for warning me. But I realized, you know what it was? It wasn't her positivity that was a problem for me. It was the fact I didn't like the job. I was trying to make myself go to a job I didn't like. This was in 1985. I was working for Woodward and Lothrop as a mannequin dresser. I dressed the mannequins in the windows and all of that stuff. And I did it because my desire, you know, in the fashion industry. But I did not like that job. I didn't like that job. I had a mean boss, really mean, you know, conceited people in the group, you know, people being competitive with one another. And then the first month on the job, I was there 3 months, by the way, but the first month on the job, I came to work dressed all artistic and looking amazing, and they had me on assignment to go down in the basement of Woodward. I didn't know they had a basement. And I had to drag Christmas trees up the basement, from the basement, and begin to detangle them. That was my assignment for 2 weeks, and it was not a clean job. And I'm like, when do I get to decorate them? After you bring them up. By the time I got those trees up there, I didn't even want to decorate. I didn't want to see a tree. Because it was not so much the job per se, but there was nothing in that atmosphere that motivated me. I wasn't getting it. And so after the trees were decorated, I remember we came in on Good Friday. Well, not Good Friday, Black Friday. And we had to come into work right after Thanksgiving meal. And we had to work all night and transform the store to look like Christmas. That was the assignment. And it looked great. But we were all just exhausted because there was no motivation. There was no, you know, guys, good job. We got this. We can do this. There were no words of affirmation. Great job. One tree I decorated, and I said, man, this tree looks good. And I was the only one that said it. The rest of the team is hating because it looked good. Nobody wanted to say, your tree really looked good, right? But the point I'm making is that there were things missing to make it the environment that I felt motivated in. I needed words of affirmation. I needed people to say, great job. I needed people to say, thank you. I needed those things. And after 2 more months, I realized that wasn't happening, and I took a gigantic step. Because I was still sewing clothes at the same time. I took a big step, and I quit my job. I quit my job. I just bought a car, and I quit my job. And the boss said, you'll be back. She said, oh, you'll be back. You got to pay for that BMW. You'll be back. And you know what? Her negativity motivated me to make sure I never come back. Whenever I start to feel like I'm not going to get this done, I was like, no, yes, you are. You're going to get it done because this is what you love to do. I loved working for myself. But it took discipline, all of these things. It took self-motivation. I had to tell myself to get up and sew. I had to tell myself, you got this deadline. I had to tell myself these things because that's what comes with it. A lot of people start a business and go out of business right away because they lack the motivation. Listen, in business for yourself is even harder work, right? But let me tell you something. She was right when she said, you be back. She was right. I did go back. I went back to Woodward & Lothrop when they went out of business and they were selling fixtures. And I went back and I bought some fixtures for my new store. Talk about self-motivation, right? Well, what do you have to say for us? What does this have to do? Well, let's talk about work for a moment. Self-motivation at work. For example, be honest and raise your hand, or if you're home, raise your hand. Be honest, how many people have difficulty starting a task and getting it done on time? Good. Honesty. How many people have difficulty with initiating new projects and staying on task with it? Okay. How many people, raise your hand, have a difficulty with staying focused on work without getting distracted and forgetting what you're supposed to be doing? All right. How many people, okay, let's go to your house. Let's go home. Let's not deal with work. Let's deal with home. How many people have a problem with cleaning up before it gets messy? It gets messy, and all of a sudden you realize you can't find yourself in the room. Then you say, I think it's time to clean. How many people have, for example, how many people have a hard time with doing the dishes right after eating? Right after eating. How many of y'all leaving for 2 weeks? Let's see that. How many people have Thanksgiving dishes in the sink still, huh? Okay. Let's talk about relationships for a second. How many of us find it difficult to say kind words and remember to always affirm other people in your life, in relationships, children, parents, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife? How many people have a problem sometimes with reminding yourself to affirm others? That's what I asked that question. How many of us have a problem sometimes staying and working through problems instead of running away? You tend to want to run rather than confront things. Good. Okay. These are all just some characteristics of the need for self-motivation. Doesn't mean we fail. It means we need to pay attention to. I give you one of mine, and that is that I had this tendency that I'm the only one that knows where stuff is. Until now, I don't know where it is. And I found that in my work environment, when it gets cluttered, I'm less productive. So it is better for me, instead of me simply trying to find stuff for an extra 20 minutes, it's better to take 30 minutes and clean that space up. I've noticed about myself that when I start cleaning up, that means I'm thinking something fresh. See, this is called self-awareness. That's next week. When you recognize patterns about yourself, things about yourself, and good and bad. And I have a good quality. If you start seeing me clean up, oh boy, what's he getting ready to do? Because cleaning up, I tell you what I do when I start really cleaning up. I start throwing away stuff. And when I start throwing away, I mean I start throwing it away. Because now I have this motto that if I haven't looked at it in the past year, chances are I'm not going to look at it this year. Right? And so then all of a sudden my space is clean because my space is clean. Up here is ready for something to be processed because this space looks pretty good right now. All right? But boy, let me tell you, my motivation to clean up is when stuff starts getting lost. Like I don't literally walk into my store space every day and say, oh, out of place. Oops. I did it like the first week that we opened. You know, this t-shirt belongs here. This is a medium, not a small. Are you kidding now? It's like, just put it over there. But when things start getting lost, then I'm like, you know what? You got to fix this problem. And here's where I thank myself, and this is where I give myself credit. At least I am going to do it. At least I realize I can, I should, it's my responsibility. Let me do it. And here's where I know I've grown. I don't require people to say, oh, your space looks nice. They don't ever have to say it. It's the idea that it benefits me. It benefits others. And so it's something I need to commit to doing. Amen. Okay, now, let me give you just something else, and then let's go into the Bible and talk about this for just a few minutes, and we'll be done. Let's go to the Bible. Let's look at it. 1 Thessalonians gives us some instruction if you want to talk about motivation in the Bible. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 through 18, and we'll put it on the screen for those who don't have a Bible or if you want to follow along. It says, rejoice always. Always rejoice. Well, that takes motivation. That takes motivation, right? Pray without ceasing. Well, that takes motivation, right? To pray about everything? Huh? Everything, right? Yeah. Pray without ceasing. And in everything, look at this. In everything, you should give thanks. In everything, y'all, you should give thanks. What? What? All this traffic? In everything, give thanks. My grocery bill? In everything, give thanks. He says, in everything, give thanks, and this is why. For this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. So you got to rejoice, right? Pray, and give thanks. Can we do those three things this week? Rejoice, pray, and give thanks. Commit to that. Write it down if you have to. Remind yourself, because some of us get distracted, right? Go back to it. I'm going to pray, I'm going to rejoice, I'm going to pray, and I'm going to give thanks. Don't be surprised how it changes your perspective. The difference between people who are accomplished and people who are just thinking about doing is the act of doing it. Literally. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been on the roller coaster of, I don't have no stomach, I got stomach. I don't have no stomach, I got stomach. You know, but I've learned something. Just go out there and walk. Just do it. Don't say, I'm going to start Tuesday. Come on here. Which Tuesday? Where's my boy Paul? Me and Paul compare our stomachs. That's why I'm looking at Paul over there. I started a few weeks ago. When you going to start? But next week. That's right. So we go out to eat, and Paul would say, I'm going to start tomorrow. The point I'm making is this. If you don't do it, you won't do it. If you just don't do it, you won't do it, right? And the way to get consistent is just start. Just start. If you fall off the wagon, get back up and go again, right? Keep going, all right? He says, give thanks always. That's positive. That means you have to find the good in the bad. I can't believe they talked about me. Well, that meant you must have been somebody worth talking about. Amazing that you took 10 minutes out to discuss me. Come on. See, because if you don't turn it around and give thanks, you're going to do something else. You're going to start complaining, right? Let me tell you a little story about a man that noticed some elephants and how they were just standing still with these little tiny ropes, just a rope around the one leg. And he's like, I can't believe they're not just breaking away with that little rope and going somewhere. And he noticed they didn't move. And he went over to the trainer. He says, you got them trained like that, huh? They don't move. They're not going to move. You're not afraid of them breaking free? He said, no, not at all. He said, why? What's the secret? He says, well, when they were young, we had ropes like this on them. And the ropes we had on them when they were young were capable of keeping them from going. So whenever they see ropes, they think they can't go. Because when they had ropes on them when they were young, it stopped them from going. And so now we don't have to worry about it. We just keep those same ropes on, and their memory, because you know they got a good memory, they reminded that these ropes were meant to keep you confounded, so they're just confounded. Listen, what does that tell us? You cannot let the stuff that stopped you in the past be the same stuff that stops you now. You'd be surprised how many people are using yesterday's stuff as an excuse why they can't do something different today. Let me give you another scripture, and then I'm going to be almost done here, looks like. Colossians 3:2. Because this thing starts in your brain. Set your mind, your affection on things above, not on the earth, things on the earth. You know, it was Michelle Obama that coined this statement, when they go low, we go high, right? You know, amazing statement, right? When we talk about the quality of the eagle, we know that the eagle flies above the storm, right? But he says, listen, he says, set your mind on higher things. Sometimes the problem is that we're down here thinking when we need to be thinking above. We need to be thinking more God-centered. And I made this note because I want to make sure you know this is not just some coaching session. I want you to understand that this is God's will for us, that personal fulfillment lies in the pursuit of God. When we are pursuing after the God plan for our lives, we have to think up here because his plan takes us from here to here. But you have to be thinking, God, what's your plan for my life? It's not enough to make money. It's not enough to have a degree. It's not, what's your plan for my life? What do you want to do with this degree? What do you want to do in my life? What did you create me to do? What is it that you designed me to do? You know, when people ask me, how do you do so many things? I don't get it. Do you sleep? I do sleep. My wife back there can tell you, I sleep. But here's the thing. I always say, because I'm doing what he designed me to do. If I'm doing what God has called me to do, then I'm at peace about it. Come on here. I'm going to meet challenges, but I understand that challenges, obstacles become opportunities. Because I am where he wants me, I am doing what he wants me to do. And guess what? I really do find pleasure in doing his will. I find pleasure in doing his will. But you know what? This explains why some people aren't motivated, because you're doing what somebody else wanted you to do. My mom, I became a doctor because my mother said we got to be a doctor in this family. Well, that's why half the family's sick. Everybody's trying to be a doctor, and that might not be what you're called to do. It may be something else you're called to do. And the only way, look, those folks here that are kicking yourself because you didn't go to college. Maybe you weren't meant to go. Maybe you were meant to work in the capacity you're working, start the business that you start. You know, everybody does not have the same plan for their life. So you can't be motivated about somebody else's plan. You can cheer them on, but it's not your motivation if you have no idea why you exist. You know what? I'm going to be honest. Some people are so driven by everybody else's life that they become them. Last week you looked like Beyonce. This week you look like Nene Leakes. Because you like something that's going on in their life. But what about you? What do you look like? I know we go back to the self-esteem thing. We go back to the self-acceptance thing. If you were told all your life you could never become, if you were told this would never happen, you told you never do this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Some of that stuff weighs in. I get it. But now you got to take that stuff and make it a motivation. This is why I am going to achieve. Don't keep saying, I can't achieve because you know my dad, he wasn't there. You know, my mother, she was out in the streets. You know, such and such happened. I was the middle child. You know what they say about the middle child. I was the oldest child. You know, we always the responsible. I'm the youngest child. We got everybody's hand-me-downs. We find something wrong. You know, the story I like to tell real quick about a man that was telling a joke. He told a joke, and everybody in the room bust out laughing. They were laughing. So he's like, all right. So he told a joke again. Same joke. Couple people laughed. Oh, that's funny. Couple people said, okay, we got it now. So he noticed those people laughed. So he told the joke again, the same joke, with the same enthusiasm. He told the same joke, Mike. Same joke. Only one person laughed. So he's like, okay, cool. He told the joke again, and nobody laughed. He said, okay, so why y'all not laughing? He said, because you keep telling the same joke. He said, well, isn't it the same thing about complaining? If you keep complaining, what changes? You know, so we got to think about this perspective of self-motivation. Self-motivation is not constantly downing yourself and talking about everything that did not go right. That doesn't motivate you. I remember some years ago when I started pastoring, I said to the crew, I said, listen, I'm going to be real honest with y'all. I'm a solution finder. I'm not a person sitting around and cry all day. I said, so I'm going to be honest with you. When I ask your opinion, I'm going to give you a few seconds to talk negative, but then we're going to move on. We're going to go on to the positive side. I said, because I've noticed something. When you start with negativity, it becomes contagious. Then everybody starts complaining. I never forget it. When I was a student teacher over at Maryland, University of Maryland, and the class, I set this thing out here, this big pitcher of water, well, a pitcher of yellow stuff. And I said, all right, folks, I got some lemon water. If it starts to get strong, just raise your hand, let me know, and I'll move it away. So I'm talking about the lesson on persuasion. And all of a sudden, folks' hands are going up. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. You smell? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll move it over here. I said, hopefully this will move it out of your way a little bit. I'm sorry, but, you know. So hands start going up in the back of the room. Y'all still smell? Oh, yeah, we smell, yeah. And then some folks are like, oh, God, yeah, I do smell it. It's a little strong. It is strong. I like lemon, but it's really strong. I said, can I have someone from the back come up here for a moment and someone from the front? I said, I need you to do me a big favor. Sniff it. Tell me what it smells like. Nothing. I said, that's because there's nothing but colored water. It was never lemon in it. It was the suggestion. And all it took was for a few people to start seeing it, and folks are like, well, if I don't see it, something must be wrong with me. Yeah, I see it. We went outside, did the same illustration, and we all had agreed to walk down the street and start pointing. And everybody's coming by like, what? Look, you see that line? Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, what is that? Cool. The folks walking by like, what are y'all looking at? Looking at that blue line. Oh, where? The blue line? You don't see that blue line? I don't. Excuse me. You see it. Then another person walks in and says, oh, you guys see that blue line? I just saw it. He's like, well, yeah, I kind of do see it now. The point I want to make is that we are going to be contagious one way or the other. All right? You're either going to be motivated or you're going to be motivated toward the negative, positive or the negative. Either way, it is contagious. All right? Let me finalize it with this. I would like to give you a quick list of some things to consider when we talk about motivating ourselves, being self-motivated. Number one, let's talk about initiative. That is taking charge, to act upon, to move forward before others do. That's one area you might want to think about. Are you willing to initiate something without others doing it first? You know, are you the one that just keeps following what other people do? Like if you're in a grocery store and you see the line is open, there's nobody in the line, then you're going to be the first to go to the line and you're waiting to see who else goes to the line, right? the initiator takes the initiative. The person says, I'm going to act on this. Okay? In your community, there's an issue. Are you going to sit back and just wait and complain with everybody? Or are you going to take the initiative and say, hey, let's have a meeting and talk about this problem? All right? Taking initiative. All right? How about achieving, where you just literally commit to goals, right? Commit to goals and stick to it. Eliminate obstacles and stick to those goals. Don't change it, stick to it. How about start with small goals first? I'm going to lose this weight. How about I'm going to lose 2 pounds? Then I'm going to lose 4 pounds. It may be a little more conceivable than I'm going to lose all this weight. I'm throwing away all my clothes, so I'm going to be in that size. My wife, I'm sure, laughed when I talked about the time that I bought a shirt too small intentionally from the young man's store. They got beach bodies, and I'm going to buy me a shirt. I forgot the name of the place now. I ain't been there so long. But I went and bought the shirt, and every now and then I put the shirt on. And I'm like, honey, look, I'm getting in it, ain't I? Aeropostale. Green checkered shirt. I mean, that shirt was tight. And I was like, look, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And that shirt was supposed to be my motivation. Well, I tell you, I did drop weight, but I never got back to that size. In other words, be realistic about your expectations too, right? How about resilience, being able to bounce back? In spite of difficulties, I bounce back, I come back. I fall down, but I get up. This is a part of self-motivation, being able to be resilient, to bounce back. And then having a passion for what you're doing. The enjoyment of the work itself, what you're doing. All of these play into your self-motivation. And then your desire to improve. That's also part of self-motivation. Desiring to improve. I want to get better. I want to do better this year. When you have an event, what do you do after the event? You think about ways it can be done better the next time. And then you get excited about next year. I love my friend T. Adams that created the whole Juneteenth event here in Annapolis, Maryland. It's the biggest event we've seen in this county, literally. 12,000 people this year. The first year, over 8,000 or 9,000 people, and she said, I'm done. I said, you ain't done. I said, you're not done. I said, because you're too passionate about it to be done. No, next year some folk gonna have to take it on. I'm done. Well, the next year came and she was on it, doing it. Called me up. Guess what? I had a vision. I said, well, if you had a vision, there's provision. Let's do it. And Juneteenth, 12,000 plus people this year. Amazing. Because when it's just something you're passionate about, yeah, you got your down moments. You say, oh, my Lord, I'll never do that again. But you know what? Passion is passion. It really is. And it can drive you. It can motivate you. The idea of doing it better, improving it, should motivate you. All right? So let me close with this point here. The greatest example I have in the Bible about self-motivation is in John chapter 5. You see, there's a man in John chapter 5 who's been sitting at a pool for 38 years, waiting for something to happen. He's not there by himself. He's sitting at the pool with a whole lot of other people who have handicaps. They call themselves impotent, powerless. Some of them were lame, some couldn't talk, some of them were crippled, all kinds of stuff was going on with them, and they all were sitting there. And the reason why they were at this pool is because at a certain season every year, God would dispatch an angel from heaven that would come down and stir the water in the pool. And the moment the people saw the water stirring, they would get up and start running as fast as they can, because the person who got into the pool first would be healed of whatever disease they had. But there's a man who's been there 38 years. So if the angel came once a year, that means he had 38 times to get it right, and he didn't do it. I start thinking about this man and what could be the reason why he doesn't get there. And then I thought about a couple of reasons. One is the company he's in the midst of. The company he keeps. You become so much like the people you're around when you're around them so much. And so everybody else was complaining about their issues, and they got used to complaining and comparing their misery, so did he. Because you know what? The bigger your misery, the bigger your story. The bigger your story, the more people are going to listen. Oh, you think you've been here? You've been sick 10 years? Shoot, try 25. He's 25, I got you there, bro. 30. And here's the man. Oh, I got all y'all. 38. I've been here the longest. Like that's something to be proud of? To be broke that long? To be unfixable that long? But do you know there are people that actually pride themselves on being broken that long? So the first problem he had is that he was in a circle of people that none of them could help him because they were all just like him. Second problem was he was surrounded by people who were only motivated to see one way out of their situation. They only saw one way. When the angel stirred that pool, I don't care who I'm talking to, I am taking off. Can y'all imagine that? Picture that for a second. You sitting around pretending you friends with everybody. Yeah. Oh, really? All of a sudden you see that water stirring. You done jumped up, dust in their face and everything. You gone. You are jumping over people, kicking people out your way, karate chopping people, and so you can get in the water first. Because guess what? If I get my healing, do you think I'm coming back here? Do you think I'm coming back and check on you again? Oh, bro. Oh, now that I got my healing, let me help you. Are you kidding? See you wouldn't want to be you. And picture this, though. Picture this. Picture this. You've been there this long, but it never dawned on you. Get closer. Get closer to the water. Why are you still sitting here? Get closer. You know it's going to happen at some point. Get closer. But see, that takes self-motivation. Because nobody else is going to tell you to get closer. They want what you want too. But you got to tell you to get closer. Right? You got to tell you to move up here. Because if it's going to happen over here and I really want it, there's the answer to that question right there. Do I really want it? Then if I really want it, I need to get closer because it happens right here. But he didn't. But oh, watch what happened. So Jesus comes through there. And Jesus noticed this man been here a long time. So he asked him a question. He said, do you really want it? That's the question today. Do you really want it? Do you really want it? Get something in your mind that you said you want in life. Do you really want it? Do you really want it? Do you really want it? Well, let me tell you what the man said. He answered Jesus. He said, I'm ready to talk to you. He said, first of all, I don't have nobody to help me. You know how many times we hear that excuse? I don't have nobody to help me. He said, and then when I try to get there on my own, people get there before me. Listen, don't get stuck comparing yourself to somebody else who looks like they're on the same journey. Wow, she been got married. I'm still single. Come on, talk to me, people. You know how you do. You at the wedding time, congratulations. How she get married before me? She don't look good. I have a cousin that said that to me one day. She said, I said, Craig getting married. Now, you know I need to get married. I said, well, what you trying to say about me? Cuz, thanks a lot. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. You got 12 dresses in your closet. You can start a store. Stop comparing yourself. Right? Stop it. Stop it. And secondly, he said, I don't have nobody to help me, right? That means you got to look at your circle. Who's in your circle? That's my ride or die, but y'all dying right now. Ain't nobody riding. That's my ride or die. Maybe that's why. You got the wrong people in the car. Everybody in the car, don't nobody know where to go, how to get there. I think it's that way. Nope, I think it's that way. The point I'm making here, and this is not to sound harsh, but if you're going to be motivated, you also got to be surrounded by people who want to see things happen in life. Right? Look at this. Watch this. Last point about this. I made a special note about this because I've been preaching this message about this man for years, and this didn't dawn on me until I saw it. And I said, wait a minute here. And that is simply this. Jesus said to him, rise. So let me give you three steps towards self-motivation. Rise. What did rise mean? Well, for the longest time, he'd been laying down. For 38 years, he'd been laying down. He never gets up unless he sees the water stirring, and then he's trying to make his way there. But he says, just rise. Stop looking at life from the same perspective. See it from a different angle. See beyond what you see. See beyond what you see. You'll go beyond where you are if you see beyond what you see. He says, rise. That's number one. Number two, take up your bed. Now, let me explain what that meant. Anyone that was there was sick, and they had a sick mat, like with kids sleep on, when they go to school, take a nap. Everybody had one. And what the purpose of it was not just for you to lay there when you're sick, but when you forgot you're sick and you get up and you go in places talking to people, you got your mat over there reserving your space. How many of us get up and go talk to other people, but we go back to the space? What's that? You starting a business? Yeah, I think I might. Yeah, let me talk to you about that business thing. I might start me a business as well, but then I think about it. I got a lot of bills. Hey, I wish you the best though. You got this. You got this. You got this. Yes, you do. How many of us do this? He says, here's what I need you to do, young man. I need you to rise. See life from a different angle. Number two, I need you to take up your bed. Because guess what? If you take up the bed, you lose your space. Come on, somebody. I'm going to take up my bed because I have no intention to return back to that space. As a matter of fact, anybody want this space? It's available. Come on, it's available. You can have that space. Thank you. No, I don't need it because I'm determined to no longer create a space to go back to. Instead, I'm going to look at a space forward instead of one backwards. If you can't get back, you won't go back. Come on, somebody. If you can't get back, you won't go back. And the last thing was walk. Rise, take your bed, walk. What is walk? It means take steps. Even if they're little ones, take steps. How many people are old enough to remember the game called Mother May I? Huh? What was the purpose of that game? It was to take steps as slick and as small as you can, but keep taking them steps until you get to mother. But you had to ask permission first. Mother, may I take 4 steps? Because you've already calculated where them 4 steps are going to take you. I'm not going to take 10 giant steps because mother going to say, no, you may not. So fine, mother, may I take 2 small steps? Yes, you may. 1, 2. Mother, may I take 2 small steps again? Yes, you may. 1, 2. Mother, may I take 1 bigger step? Yeah, you can. Mother, notice something. You're not where you started. I might not be where I'm going, but I'm not where I was. Right? And so take steps. Move in the direction of the goals you set. Just start moving in the direction of it. I close with this little quick, short story. Quick, short story. There was a man named Kevin who he could cheer people on. I mean, you knew Kevin was in the house because Kevin would make sure you knew he was there. He'd say, hey there, good morning. Come on, you know how we do this. And folks would look so forward to meeting up with Kevin every single week. They would just be like, where's Kevin? I got to get my hello this morning. Where's Kevin? And Kevin come around the corner. Here I am. Here's your hello. You know how we do this. And one day, everybody was looking for Kevin. Where's Kevin? I don't hear him. Where he at? And everybody was so upset because where's my good morning? Where's my handshake? Where's my fist bump? Where's my fellow Raven? Where's Kevin? And so they got so preoccupied with asking, where is Kevin, that they didn't notice Kevin was there. But it just happened to be on a day that Kevin didn't feel like saying anything. So the folks did something different. They started complaining. Kevin, what's wrong with you this morning? You know I need my hello. Hey, come on now, you know how I start my day with you. What's wrong? You know, they ain't like you to act like this. Finally, a dude walked in and said, well, have y'all thought about something? Maybe what Kevin was doing was trying to motivate you to do the same thing. Could it be that Kevin's having a down day because it's time for you to do what you have always counted on him to do? So if he really mattered to you, if he really motivated you, now it's your time to motivate him. Do you really want it? What's driving you? Everyone stand to your feet. What's driving you? Do you really want it? What is that goal you set? Do you really want it? Are you passionate about it? Do you feel like it's meant to be? Then what are you going to do about it? One of my friends one time said to me, she said, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be a good wife and a good mother. I said, that's great. I said, what are your qualifications? What do you have? She said, well, I just know. I said, well, how do you know? You ever dealt with children? No, but I'm going to be a great mother. I said, how? You ain't dealt with nobody's kids yet. That's how you know you're going to be a great wife. Because I just know I bring a lot to the table. I said, says who? She's like, oh, you ain't going to kill my dreams. I said, no, I'm not trying to kill. I'm trying to help you. I just want to know. You said you're going to be a great wife and mother, so what you going to do? Got quiet. A couple weeks later, she called me up. She said, you remember that day we was talking? I said, yep. I said, you had attitude ever since, didn't you? She said, no, I just really realized that you were really trying to help me. She said, you're helping me see that I can't just talk what I want to do. She says, so I think I'm going to go take some courses on childhood development. I said, even if you don't take a course, go get a book. What to expect when you're expecting? Get a book. Read. Talk to some people who are married, who are mothers. Talk to them. And then decide what you're going to do. Because let me tell you something. If you talk to somebody that's been where you're going, chances are they are willing to share with you because there's nothing intimidating about giving you a hand up. But if you're busy talking to people on the same level, it's like being a man at the pool. We all want the same thing. See ya. But when you put some more people in your circle that also have been where you're trying to go. Remember I told y'all about the time a millionaire told me they were going to give me $1 million. And I showed up so quick. This was years ago when I was just starting the business. I'm like, they're going to give me $1 million. And the guy sat me down. His name was Larry Brown. Great guy. He was a great guy. Larry and his wife sat me down. He talked for about 2 hours. And I'm saying, wait, when does the check come in? I'm like, did you forget something? He's like, so I really enjoyed this time with you, you know. I said, yeah, well, are we forgetting something? He said, what? I said, the money. He said, the what? I said, the money. You forgot the money. He said, I gave it to you. I said, no. He said, yes. He said, I can give you a fish or I can give you a pole. He said, I chose to give you the pole. I gave you the lesson. You can make the money yourself. I just gave you the secret. Well, back then, you know, I was hot. I drove all the way down here, ain't got no money. I barely got enough gas to get back up the road. How bad do you want it? Are you motivated? Does today's message motivate you to re-examine your priorities, your circle? Great. Those of you online, I hope this has motivated you as well. So here's the question to you. What are you going to do? Rise. Take up the bed. Walk. What are you going to do this week? Pray. Give thanks. Rejoice, pray, and what? Give thanks. All right. Father, I've shared your word. Now I pray that your word has fallen on good ground. Bless everyone that's listening. Bless everyone that's hearing, that we become more than just hearers, that we doers. Lord, cause someone to go back and replay this message over and over this week until they know it by heart and that they become doers. Thank you for your plan for our lives, Lord. Thank you for the ups and the downs. Thank you for every obstacle, every opportunity. Now help us to be focused and that we fulfill your will for our lives. In the precious name of Jesus, we pray. Let all of God's people begin to celebrate the Lord. Come on. God bless you. At this time, we're going to just ask if there's someone who does not know the Lord. It's a simple prayer. Lord Jesus, I just heard about you. Help me. Come into my heart. Come into my life. I give you all of me. If you pray that prayer, he hears you. It's that simple. If there's someone that says, okay, I know Jesus, but now I need to grow. Well, you know, a plant doesn't grow unless it's put into dirt. Welcome to the dirt, a fresh start. Get in the soil. Come on and grow. If you're looking for a home, this would be a great home for you. We're growing here. If that's you today, if you're online, just put in the chat section, I want to be a part of Fresh Start. We'll reach out to you. If you're here, say, I want to be a part. Just raise your hand, and we're going to give you a card, fill out, and welcome you to your pot where you grow. All right? Is there anyone today? God bless. Looking for a home? If so, wave your hand. We're just going to welcome you. We're going to give you a card. We're not going to ask you your first, last name, your social security number. We don't do all that. We're just going to give you a card and welcome you to your new home. Okay? God bless you. Everybody put your hands together. It's time to give an offering. So I'm going to tell you why I'm so excited about giving, because it's always a cheerful time in our church. It's always a cheerful time. We have seen needs met through your giving. We have seen things happen. Did y'all walk up on that parking lot today? Did you see the new parking lot? Wow, right? It's beautiful. We're going to have a dry port for the bad weather. All kinds of good stuff going to happen. And it's your money that helps make it happen. Also today, we're going to be giving so that we can send off a love package to our deployed soldiers, right? Nicole Day and her unit. They're going to get all kinds of stuff you guys are committing to. Hot tamales and M&Ms, things that we take for granted. And they're like, man, I just want a bag of M&Ms, right? So we're going to send them some love. But then thirdly today, we were notified of another potential eviction. And as we all know, it can happen because this time we're living in is really tough. I can tell you guys, as much as we like to say that there are resources out here, it doesn't work right. It has not been working. Hardworking people who, for whatever reason, fall behind and cannot afford to have gas, food, and rent. They are struggling. And I love the fact that when we're struggling, we can help. So I'm asking if you dig a little deeper today as a church family, we want to stop an eviction, please. We want to help to stop an eviction. Hardworking people, we've already done our research. All right, and we thank you. So why don't you come and give at this time. If you're giving online, would you please give? There's information on how to give. If you're in the house, why don't you come and bring your gifts right now. Thank you so much. And then immediately following the giving of gifts, I want to introduce someone who's here with us today, and I want them to come and greet you today. And I do want to remind you all today that early voting is now taking place. Please, please vote. Your vote is your voice. All right, you must vote. You must vote. All right? And while you're giving, I just want to introduce the person that's here today. there are 3 offices that are statewide elected officials in our government, in our state. That's the governor's position, that's the attorney general, and the comptroller, which means that those are 3 major seats. And the young lady that's running for comptroller is here visiting with us today. So could you put your hands together and welcome Brooke Learman? She's coming. Come on up, please. We'd love to have you come and greet everyone. If they give me a microphone, here we go. Can you guys give something to this mic? Let's give a warm, fresh start welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, friends. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to participate in this beautiful service. That was quite a sermon. I feel like you were talking just to me. So thank you. Staying motivated with 9 days to go until Election Day.
That's right.
So thank you. Good morning. I'm Brooke Learman. I'm a civil rights and disability rights attorney. I'm a public school parent of 2. I'm a state delegate. I represent part of Baltimore City, and I'm thrilled to be the Democratic nominee for state comptroller. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
He did an excellent job at explaining the comptroller. It is one of only 3 statewide elected officials that we have in the state of Maryland. And I'll let you know, we've never had a woman. So excited about breaking that glass ceiling. Excited to be running with Wes Moore, Aruna Miller, and Anthony Brown for a truly historic ticket. You know, our comptroller, it's the elected CFO of our state.
That's right.
You know, we face big economic challenges here in the state of Maryland, whether you're looking at the price of a gallon of orange juice, right? Or you're talking about the racial wealth divide, or the challenge of making sure that our infrastructure is ready for climate change. Or whether you're just talking about making it easier to access state programs and benefits, right? There's so much that our comptroller can do. And I am thrilled to be running because I want to make government work better and help tackle some of these challenges. But I have to do it in partnership with all of you. So thank you for welcoming me here today. I do hope everybody will get out to vote. This is a historic election, and I hope you'll bring a friend or remind a neighbor, because this is not the time to sit back, right? This is the time to be self-motivated and participate. Thank you for all your leadership, Bishop. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Brooke
you.
Learman, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks.
It's so important to know what an office entails and what is the responsibility and what are the qualifications that people bring that are running. And so thank you for visiting with us today. All right, we have announcements now that we want to share, and then we'll be right back to close this wonderful service, so stay right there.
Attention all FSC members, if you have not already joined a FIG group, please stop by in the marketplace or go to our church app to register today. Please join a FIG group. We are signing up for the entire month of September. Fresh Start Church, it's time to show some love to our deployed troops. Nicole Day and her fellow soldiers are requesting care packages from our church family. Items to include encouraging notes, toiletries, gums, candy, and etc. For a list of items and to make a commitment, please stop in the hallway and place your name by an item and bring it next Sunday. Let's show some love. Attention all ladies, Pastor Valerie Sanford invites you to a ladies' tea party on Saturday, November 12th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Please wear your favorite hat and come out and spill some tea. Join us as we talk about bridging the gap between generations. Pastor Audrey Hale and the Marriage Ministry presents Back Down Memory Lane, a tribute to the 60s, 70s, and 80s music will take place on Friday, November 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the FSC Lounge. Wear your throwback attire and come out and celebrate marriage. FSC, it's that time of the week. It's time to celebrate those that are having a birthday. Happy birthday to Lori Matthews, Cynthia Brooks Powell, Natasha Thomas Johnson, Holly McGowan, Siobhan Boykin, Lorene Boyer, Tevin Williams, Jamar Lewis, Kevin Terrell Matthews, Takaber Fisher, Kay Wimbush, and Darcia Brown. Happy birthday and enjoy your week.
Boxes that we're going to be sending to our soldiers who are deployed. They got about another 3 or 4 months over there, and we want to keep them encouraged. They're watching live. Also, we do want to put this in the air. We are getting ready to transition to our TV station. We have to, because our social media, I just was informed that our live stream went down several times today. We apologize to those of you that have been trying to watch the service, but I need you all to start transitioning to your television. We're going to be bringing VPN. We already have a station. We need to get on there, and so that we don't have these kind of interruptions all the time. Between these interruptions and some of the weird control over social media, we need to transition to our television station, which you can get on every device. You can get it on your TV, you can get it on your smartphones, all of that, and we'll show you how to do such, okay? So we'll make sure that you guys can get on. There will be others on the channel, First Christian Community Church, Kingdom Celebration. We're going to have quite a few other partners on as we're developing the station, but we're going to get ready to do this, all right? Because we've had interruptions on Thursday nights, and so I'm motivated. So today's downstream on the live stream is a motivation that we're going to be on, all right? Okay, so God bless each and every one of you. Would you stop out in the hall and greet our special guests? Please take a moment to shake the hands of our guest, Brooke Learman, and also our team, our pastors that we out here. Everybody, don't forget, go and vote. All right? Please stand on your feet. We love you guys. It's 11:15. You got all day with your families to watch the games, do whatever you do on Thursday, on Sundays, football day. So enjoy your families and friends. All right? We love you. And we say this all the time, you matter. May the grace of God and the peace of God be with you always, even until we meet again. Amen. All right, we'll see you guys later. Have a great day.
Today's ministry has been a blessing to you. Please stay connected to FSC through our social networks and download our church app on your mobile device. Also, you can watch us live anytime you like on YouTube, Facebook, and on our website. If FSC has been a blessing to you, sow a financial seed today. Your seed will further our ability to bring ministry to those in need. May God continue to enlarge your territory as you continue to demonstrate faithful stewardship. Want more of the word that you received today? Then join the conversation on Thursday as we present Thursday Night Fire at 7 p.m. Hear the many perspectives of your favorite teams as they break down this Sunday's message. That's Thursday Night Fire, viewable on all social media platforms. Want to dialogue with Apostle Coates? Simply drop him an email at bishop.fresh.church@gmail.com. He'd love to hear how this message is impacting your walk with God. Looking for a place to grow and prosper? Then you have found that place. Join the FSC family and be a part of the Church Without Walls. Simply drop your name and email address in the chat section during our live broadcast, or send us a message at fscgb.org. Simply go to the website and scroll down to the bottom of our homepage. Fill out the info and we will be in touch within 24 hours. Until next week, continue to stay safe and well.